Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some of the world's biggest stars. And we've got one for you today, a man who knows and has met... No, stop laughing. He's met everybody...
Three descriptions there.
He knows everybody. He talks to the stars. He's on Lorraine and, of course, Good Morning Britain. He is Ross King. He's got a brand new novel out called Breaking Hollywood, which is the story of three men who get caught out by showbiz shenanigans. How are you, Ross?
I'm brilliant. Not yet caught out by showbiz shenanigans, but there we are.
Well, what I love about you is you're the guy who is there day in and day out reporting on other people, and you're never the story. That's the smart thing, isn't it?
I love it. Yeah, exactly. That's the way. Always fly under the radar. No, that's definitely the way to go. And again, with this new book, the great thing is I can continue to. It's like, pull the curtain back a little bit on the madness that is Hollywood, and also share a few stories that may have happened to me, may not have happened to me. I may have embellished, I may have toned them down, and not get sued.
Brilliant. That's a great thing about fiction. We should say the reason it's Shara King is Ross King and then Shara Lowe, two Scottish authors who are doing very well for themselves. You're, of course, in LA now. How did you get together to make this happen? Because that's the first thing we should talk about.
Yeah, well, Shari's a prolific writer, has written about 15 novels and is a great writer. And she came to me and said, what about doing your biography? And I said, yeah, great idea. It's a pamphlet. And I think, we'll maybe get about 4 of those away. So let's not think about that. And I said, and also, apart from the fact I don't think anyone's interested in it, I have no interest in, talking about my private life over the years or anything like that. And also, I've had a really lovely journey. Boy from a council house in Glasgow ends up in Hollywood. It's nice. So I said no, and then she went away and she said, well, that's a shame. And we'd known each other a long, long time. In fact, met when I was in local radio and she was running nightclubs, and I'd go in and gig and DJ and all the rest of it. And then I said, well, what about though if we wrote together? She'd never written with anyone. I've written with a lot of different people over the years with scripts and punting scripts up. And so she said, well, let's have a thought. And I said, well, look, I've got this idea. And that idea very quickly became the first book, Taking Hollywood. And then it thankfully went well. We went to number 1 in crime. We went to number 4 in Kindle, which, completely surprised us in a wonderful way. And then they were going, right, we need book 2. And so it's hard to believe, like a year later, here is book 2.
And there's no sign that it's going to stop. It could carry on and on and on. You've cleverly found a format that can run forever.
Well, that would be a lovely thought if it did continue. We've had such great fun doing it. And for me, it's been such an incredible learning process because it's something new. I mean, I'd never, obviously, as I said, never written a novel. I mean, I've written, with movie scripts and TV stuff, but never actually an actual novel. And I'm so lucky that I had Shari, guiding me along the way too, because she'd done it. So I certainly would have struggled to do it without having somebody like Shari by my side too.
There's 2 people in radio who I greatly admire. There's you and there's Paul McKenna, who have truly taken the medium, used it for what it is, which is a skill that it's all about the words and talking and the right questions, and turning it into this phenomenal career. Just give people an idea of how big your career is. There's nobody you haven't interviewed, is there, for a start?
No, actually, I've been really lucky. It's funny, I always think when it comes to times like this, and I think, who have I not yet, had a chance to sit down and have a chat with, and I'm lucky to have it at the moment.
It's a very small business. I mean, the same people come round again year after year after year, so they get to know you. And I guess with you, there's a trust. You don't take low blows, and you're not looking to shaft people, are you? That's why you get them again and again.
I think that's it, and I think when you're fair with them, and I think when you get the people of the caliber of a George Clooney, George for me is just an absolute joy to interview because he gets it, and he knows that we're all in the game together. But equally, if you want to have a bit of a laugh, George is one of those guys that he can see that there's a little kind of glint in your eye, and he knows that you're lobbing the ball for him to absolutely smack it out of the park, and that's what he does every time. And he gets it, he'll run with something that's funny, and he's very relaxed. But I think also, hopefully, from my point of view, that over the years, when you've met these people and interviewed them so many times, that they do get comfortable, and also the fact that I want the best out of them. And I'm not, digging for dirt or anything at all like that. So it hopefully works for everyone.
Yeah, I've never seen the point of having one great story that then ends your career because nobody wants to talk to you again. It's pointless, isn't it?
Exactly, yes.
A lot of people seem to do that. What's also amazing about you is your longevity at ITV. It's extraordinary that the shows come and go, the presenters come and go, the formats come and go, but you manage to stay there. Do you ever get nervous that you might go with the old lot when it fails and they bring in the new lot? Because you've managed to ride the wave, which is extraordinary.
It is quite remarkable. I think what happens is that I think you get to a point in your career where you know that it will end at some point, that it could end today, tomorrow, and you just accept it. And so rather than worrying about what might happen, you just continue to enjoy what actually is happening. And I think it was certainly something when I moved to LA and when I went back to studying acting again, that was a thing I learned, how to be present in the moment. And that's how I live my life now, just being absolutely present in that moment so that you're enjoying every single thing. It's a bit like, a kid at Christmas, it's November and you're suddenly thinking about Christmas. How many sleepovers till Christmas Day? And then rather than enjoying the fact that there are sleepovers till Christmas and that Christmas is coming and you're enjoying those days, you would always just build up and then it was all about Christmas Day. So for me, that's the way that I look at it from a career point of view now, is that I'm so ridiculously lucky to have got to where I have. Everything is kind of gravy now, and if I look back, I'm so lucky that I've got so many incredible, wonderful memories and experiences. And I think that's what it is, because there's no point in thinking, oh my goodness me, how much longer will I be in this job, and who's coming along, and because obviously there's tons and tons and tons of people snapping at your heels, and I know it's a great job, and I know that loads of people would kill to get it, and as we know, it's that kind of business. People do think like that.
Yeah.
So I tend to just think, I've been so lucky to have done it as long as I have, and I want to continue doing it, forever. That won't happen, but while it's here, I'm loving it.
And let's face it, it's not as easy as it looks. When you look at some of these new chat shows in America, let's talk about that for a minute. There's James Corden, who seems to have made a hit out of sitting in a car doing karaoke with stars, but sat on a couch actually thinking of proper questions is not that easy, is it?
Well, it's one of those jobs I always think where people do tend to make it look easier. And as a kid growing up and having heroes like Michael Parkinson and Bob Monkhouse, Des O'Connor, people like that. And I was so lucky to have sat with these people and got to ask them questions. Yeah. And not just questions, when they were promoting something, to actually sit and have a chat with them and ask about how they did their job and about their craft. And I think what happens is that people can get found out quite quickly in this business. And as we all know, most jobs are relatively easy to do when things are going well. It's when they're not going well, that's when the experience kicks in. And, some people, they'll see like a red carpet, or they'll see a junket room, and they'll see an interview with someone and think, you've got these stars for ages, and you sit down. And, when you say to people sometimes, occasionally, even when we were in Toronto on a red carpet, someone says, you've got one question. And that's always a funny thing. Someone says, you've got these stars coming along, but you've got one question. And so you have to hope and think, it's going to be a good question that's going to get a good response that means you're going to have something that you can put on TV. And sometimes even when you sit down in a hotel junket, you've got 3 minutes. And if you hit them with a bad question to start with, as you well know, Alex, then you're right on the back foot. Yeah. And you're struggling, and you've got to try and get back. And it's a bit like you've scored an own goal with 3 minutes to go of the game, and so you're going to spend the next 2.5 minutes trying desperately to get back upfield to score, and then score a winner too. So it's experience. It's experience. So it's one of those things where it can look a lot easier than it is, and I think that we even have instances where when people come out to LA, we don't have auto cue in the studio there. You are just literally making it up as you go along. I know some people will say, that's exactly how it sounds, Ross.
I guess it's also a game of charm and rapport, and that's something you have bucket loads of. I think that helps, and the accent too. It's all a package, isn't it, really?
Well, that's very kind of you to say so, and I will take that compliment. That's most kind. I think sometimes an accent does help. It's interesting in Los Angeles, people do kind of think, they just love our accents. Well, they love it up to a point. It doesn't open every single door, and it doesn't mean that, you'll get every single question answered. But it certainly is something that makes you a little bit different, makes you stand out a little bit more. And I've always, that's why, I've never ever lost my accent. My accent is just the same as it has been when I grew up in Glasgow to when I moved to London till I moved to Los Angeles. So maybe speak a little slower, as my mum always used to tell me to do.
That's always the key. Breaking Hollywood is the brand new book by Shara King. It's out September 10th, which is now by Pam Macmillan, $7.99. You can get it on Amazon. Just a couple of things. Are you amazed by how small the viewing figures are on American TV? It always amazes me that some of those late night shows have smaller audiences than Loose Women. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It's incredible for a country the size of America. You think, 300 million people, and I mean, again, the simple thing is, if you think the biggest viewing audience in America is for the Super Bowl, and that's sometimes 60 million, which is phenomenal figures, but that's it. And then you think if a top show gets 20 million, they're amazed, and most top shows now get 10 million.
Well, I think Colbert opened with 5 million on his opening night, which did beat Fallon. And when you think of that, I mean, that's half of X Factor. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is, especially for late night shows. And of course, with all their talk shows, that's what people talk about a lot, and just don't realise how few people actually watch it. And of course, now you're running into that whole thing of watching it in DVRs, and so they try to collate all those figures, which makes things an absolute nightmare. But yeah, it's always amazed me, and when I've had meetings with TV execs in America, I've always said, isn't it funny that, but there is, if you put something on, like the Super Bowl, you can get 60 million, or again, as you were saying, on the opening night, if you're getting 5 or 6 million, well, there's 5 or 6 million that are there. Yeah. You've got to try and grab them somehow.
I was listening to Howard Stern the other day, and he was saying they asked him to do one of these late night chat shows. He said, why would I do a show that's got half the audience that I've got currently sat here talking on the radio? And it's an amazing point.
So true.
Do you think Simon Cowell is going to be his replacement?
Yeah, I would think there's a huge chance. I think, the time is right for Simon to appear once again on American television. And when it's your show, there's got to be a great chance you can put yourself in. And, Howard had said for a while that he was going to leave at the end of this series of America's Got Talent. How brilliant a Brit won America's Got Talent? Paul Zerdin.
Oh, was it? Oh, fantastic.
Brilliant ventriloquist.
He's amazing.
Superb. So an incredible achievement. But yeah, I would think absolutely this is the time is right for Simon to make a somewhat triumphant return to American television.
How hard is it to stay at the top? I mean, you've seen them come and you've seen them go. Has Simon had his day, or is there still a chance he could save that? It's a risk, isn't it, that you're going to go back and close another show?
I think it's always a risk when you go out, but I think America's Got Talent is one of those shows that has legs and will continue. I don't think it's one of those ones where people will get over it, because it's not like, it's another singing show, it's another, trying to find, this band or whatever. I think with America's Got Talent, it's got legs and it will run. So I don't think there's any chance of that even actually coming off. So I think that one could go. So I think, it will, when I say go, it will continue to go. So no, I think that's a bit of a safe bet. And as I said, people love people when they come back from different things. And, Simon's style was, initially, looked at with suspicion and then, completely embraced. And I think that's exactly what they would do again.
Yeah. I've done breakfast radio like you have, and it's the most miserable place on the earth, the same as TV. I guess you've got the best gig in TV because you get to do late night breakfast telly, don't you? And that is fantastic. They're all getting up at 4 a.m, and you're able to do it at midnight from LA.
I do definitely have the best job in the world. 10 o'clock Los Angeles is 6 a.m. in the morning here. So I go to work at night. I do have to get up early in the morning sometimes to go to film, but I just love the fact that I can be on at night. It is like being in the proper world of show business. Then you're finishing round about 1:30 in the morning. Although sometimes if we're filming in Toronto or New York, then you're in the East Coast, and suddenly the time difference means that it really is the middle of the night. But no, the way that it is just absolutely perfect. Suits my lifestyle down to a T.
Let's talk about the book finally then, Breaking Hollywood. It's in your stores now. You can get it on Amazon by Pam Macmillan, $7.99 paperback, and the ebook is $5.99 by Shara King. It's going to go on and on and on. Just a few quick questions then before we go about your career. The one that you love to interview the most, the one that you're waiting for the phone to ring about?
I'd love to do a sit-down with Al Pacino. I think, he's at that point in his career now where he can reflect on the most amazing and glorious career. And I'd love to sit down and just go through it and go way back, to the beginning and how it started for him, and going through the glory days of The Godfather, etc. So he's one that I'd love to have a proper sit-down chat with.
Isn't it true that stars need to talk less? I mean, wasn't it better in Parky's day when these legends would come on and rarely talk? It seems like now everybody's talking too much.
Yeah, well, I think it's not. I'm not sure it's that they're talking too much, but I think what happens is that because of the nature of the beast now, that when you would go on Parky, then it was a proper chat, and you got to really hear people, and you got a bit of an insight. And Michael Parkinson was just the master of it, and got stories out of them. And I think now, unfortunately, but it is the way that it is. People talk in sound bites, and I see that when I interview people, that you get very concise answers sometimes when you really want a nice full answer and you want to hear a story behind it. But no, it tends to be a bit like that, and it's very staccato, and they go, and I hope that's okay.
Yeah, doesn't help fill an hour, does it? And of course, you're doing Good Morning Britain. For me, Lorraine Kelly is the greatest TV anchor ever. She makes it look so easy. But have they got the format right with GMB now?
I think so. It's great. We feel very settled. I think it's a great team, a great bunch of people, and everyone gets on really well, which, as you know, that really helps a lot. And again, with Dame Lorraine, which surely she will be soon, I just love it to bits. And, again, we often talk about it as if we were married in another life. And we have such a great laugh, and I think that the one lovely thing for us is that what you see on the screen is exactly how we are in real life. We're meeting up tonight, and have a couple of drinks, and it's just great to see her. And we just talk exactly the same way as we do when we're on the TV, when we're either on the phone when I'm in LA and she's here. So, it's great when you've got a pal like that and you get to play in the TV.
And congratulations to you. We should have started with this, not ended with it. But of course, a new life for you, a new wife, new start. It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, punching well above my weight with Brianna, but so far, they said it wouldn't last, and that's over 4 weeks now. So in Hollywood terms, that's more like 8 years. So I think we're doing okay.
Fantastic. And of course, the LA life, does it ever get too much? I mean, it is very superficial. It's a place where I wouldn't survive because I'm deeply unattractive and ginger. I don't even think we're allowed in.
Well, I mean, I'm close, and I think what happened was that it's a very silly place full of overachievers, and I always think that when I arrived at LAX at Los Angeles International Airport, they said, "Oh yeah, we're full of silly people and overachievers. You look like one of us, in you come."
You'll fit in. Hey, great to talk to you. Ross King is the new man who is taking the world by storm in publishing. Who'd have thought it? I mean, it must be shocking to you. To see yourself on the TV is normal, but to see yourself in a bookstore doing incredibly well must be surprising.
Ridiculous. Exactly. I really cannot believe it, and I can't believe that we've got book 2, and I can't believe it's a year on, and I'm looking down and I'm seeing 2 books with half my name on it.
Very good. Breaking Hollywood is the new book by Shara King. It's out now by Pan Macmillan. Great to talk to you, Ross.
Cheers, Alex. All the best as always.